You are tired in a way that sleep doesn't fully fix anymore. Not broken, not failing. Just the specific kind of tired that comes from loving someone this hard, this constantly, with this little margin for yourself. The kind of tired where you're already thinking about the next thing before the current thing is done. Where you move through the feeding and the burping and the outfit change and the soothing like your body has memorized the sequence so your brain can be somewhere else for 5 minutes. You are doing everything, every single day. And here is what nobody has told you. In between all of it, in the gaps between the tasks, in the ordinary Tuesday morning moments that feel like nothing, your baby is collecting something, storing something, building something that will still be inside them 40 years from now when you are nowhere near that room. Not the big moments, not the ones you're planning and photographing, the small ones. The ones you almost didn't notice you were in. By the time we get to moment number 7 today, you are going to look at one specific part of your daily routine. Something you do without thinking, and you will never move through it the same way again. I promise you that these are the 10 everyday moments your baby will carry with them forever. Moment number 1. The moment you walk back in, not from a trip, not from work, from the kitchen, from the bathroom, from the 5 minutes outside you needed because if you didn't get air, you were going to sit down on the floor and not get up. You come back, your baby sees you, you think, okay, I'm back, moving on. But something is happening in that moment that you cannot see and that most parents have never been told about. Your baby's nervous system runs what researchers call a proximity-seeking system. An ancient biological alarm wired into every human baby since before recorded history that activates the moment their primary caregiver leaves their sight. It doesn't know you went to make coffee. It doesn't know you're 30 feet away. All it knows is, she was here, and then she wasn't. And the moment you walk back through that door, that alarm is waiting for one thing. Not that you came back, how you came back. When you return and your face is warm, when your eyes find your baby and your expression says, I see you. I'm glad I'm here. The alarm resets completely. The nervous system exhales, and something gets recorded in that baby's developing brain. A pattern, a prediction. She leaves and she comes back. I can trust that. I am worth coming back to. But here's what gets missed. When you return distracted, phone in hand, still in your head, body present but face somewhere else, the alarm doesn't fully reset. The baby got the return, but not the reassurance. And over hundreds of these small moments, 2 very different nervous systems are being built. You don't need to perform joy every time you walk back into a room. You just need your face, soft, present, for 3 seconds. That's it, 3 seconds. And it happens 10 times a day. And what's coming next is even smaller than that, and somehow even more important. Moment number 2. The moment you respond to a sound that wasn't a cry, your baby makes a noise. Not a cry, not a fuss, just a sound. A coo, a babble directed at the ceiling fan. A small vocalization that means nothing and everything, and you keep doing what you're doing. Because it wasn't urgent. Because nothing was wrong. Here's what was actually happening in that moment. Your baby was reaching out. With the only communication tools they have, they extended something into the world and waited to see if anything came back. Researchers at Harvard Center on the Developing Child call this serve and return. And they have described it, not casually, after decades of study, as the single most important interaction for building a baby's developing brain. Not the educational toy, not the black and white flashcard, not the developmental class. This, baby makes a sound. Caregiver responds, back and forth. Every single exchange like this builds neural connections in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for language, emotional regulation, the ability to connect with other human beings, at a rate that simply doesn't happen any other way. Here's the part that stopped me when I first read it. Babies whose serves consistently go unreturned don't just miss out on connection. They eventually stop serving. The reaching out slows. The sounds decrease. The baby learns, not as a thought, as a felt experience wired into the nervous system, that reaching out doesn't work, that the world doesn't respond to me. That lesson, learned before they have a single word. So, let me ask you something. Think about yesterday. How many of those small sounds happened? And how many came back with something? Anything, even just a glance and a yeah, I hear you? Not to make you feel bad, to show you how many chances you actually have every day. Already, moment number 3. The moment you name what they're feeling. Picture this. Your baby is upset, not the serious cry, the frustrated one. The one that happens when you've taken something out of their hands, or they can't reach the thing they want, or they're just done and overwhelmed and the world is too much today, and you say, automatically, kindly, completely naturally, "You're okay, you're fine." I want to stay here for a second because this one matters. Your baby's emotional brain is fully activated in that moment. The amygdala is firing, the body is flooded, and they are not looking to you for a solution. They are looking for a reflection, some evidence that what they are feeling inside is real, that it exists, that it's not too much, that the person they love most can see it and stay. When you say, "You're fine," to a baby who is clearly not fine, you don't calm them. You create a gap between what they feel and what they're being told about it. And here's the part that lands differently once you see it. That gap, experienced over hundreds of interactions in the first year of life, becomes one of the earliest seeds of something that follows a person for decades. The sense that my inner experience doesn't match what I'm told is real. The beginning of not trusting what I feel. Researchers in infant mental health call this chronic misattunement. And study after study shows it as one of the most significant predictors of emotional difficulty in childhood and beyond. Not abuse, not neglect, just the consistent small gap between what the baby feels and what gets reflected back. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. You name it. You're frustrated. I see it. That was hard. That's the whole thing. You don't fix the feeling. You don't take it away. You just see it and say it back. When you do that, when your baby's inner experience meets accurate reflection, something shifts in the developing brain that changes how that experience gets stored. The baby learns. Feelings can be felt and survived. Someone will stay with me in them. I am not too much. That lesson travels with them into every relationship they will ever have. Moment number 4. The moment of eye contact in the middle of feeding. This one is so quiet that most parents float past it a dozen times a day without knowing what it is. You're feeding your baby. Breastfeeding or bottle doesn't matter. And in the middle of it, not at the beginning, not at the end, right in the middle, your baby stops and looks up at you, just looks, and you look back. Maybe smile and keep going. Neuroscientists at Cambridge University studied what happens in that exchange. What they found is not metaphor. It is measurable biology. When a parent and baby make eye contact, their brainwaves synchronize. They fall into the same rhythm. Two nervous systems tuning to each other across 6 inches of air. Now think about the moment itself. Your baby is eating. Fully dependent. Biologically open in a way they will never be more open than in this moment. And they choose that moment, the moment of greatest vulnerability, to look at your face. What they see gets recorded deep in the limbic system, the emotional brain, the part that doesn't think in words or logic, the part that thinks in felt experience and body-level belief. A baby who looks up during feeding and consistently finds warmth, looking back, develops something researchers call a secure base, a deep physiological, knowing that when I am most vulnerable, I am most loved. Here's the flip side, and I say this not to scare you, but because it's important. A baby who looks up and finds a face looking at a screen. Blank, still, unresponsive. Experiences something that researchers have documented in what they call the still face experiment. Within seconds, the baby begins trying to re-engage, vocalizing, reaching, using every social tool they have, and when nothing comes back, they shut down. That experiment was designed to last 2 minutes in a lab setting. Think about how many 2-minute windows exist in a feeding. Put the phone down. Not because you're failing if you don't. Because that moment of locked eyes costs you nothing and builds something in your baby that nothing else can replicate. If this is the kind of content you've been looking for, real science, explained honestly, for parents like you who deserve to actually understand what's happening inside their baby. This channel is exactly that. Hit subscribe. Because what's coming in the next video goes even deeper. And you don't want to find it 3 months from now, moment number 5. The moment you follow, where they're looking, your baby is staring at something. The light coming through the window. The shadow on the wall. Your coffee mug sitting on the counter. Something completely ordinary that has captured their entire attention. And you have a choice. Keep doing what you're doing, or look at what they're looking at. Here's what happens when you look. When you follow your baby's gaze and reference what you both see. You see that light? Look at that coming through the curtain. You're doing something researchers call joint attention. And joint attention is one of the most significant predictors of language development and social intelligence in early childhood. But the science is actually the smaller part of this. The bigger thing is what your baby is learning about themselves in that moment. When you follow them, when you go where their curiosity leads, without redirecting, without improving it, without making it more useful, you are communicating something at a level beneath words. What you notice matters. Where you want to look is somewhere worth going. Your inner world is interesting to me. A child who receives that message, quietly, repeatedly, through 1,000 small moments of being followed, grows into a person who trusts their own mind, who follows their own curiosity without waiting for permission, who believes at the bone level that what they think and feel and notice actually matters. That belief starts here, with a baby staring at a light, and a mama who stops and looks too. Moment number 6. The moment after you lose it. I need to stop here for a second, because I know some of you came to this video already carrying something. A moment from this morning, or last night, or 3 days ago that you keep replaying. A moment where you lost your patience. Where your voice was harder than you meant it to be. Where you put them down less gently than you wanted to. Where you walked out of the room because you had to. Because you were running on empty and something snapped. And you've been carrying it since. That specific weight of parenting guilt that sits in your chest and whispers, "You're messing them up." I want to tell you what the research actually says. Not to let you off the hook, because it's true and you deserve to know it. Dr. Ed Tronick, one of the most important infant development researchers of the last 50 years, spent decades studying what he called rupture and repair. What happens in the relationship between a parent and baby after a hard moment. And what he found changed how developmental psychology understands attachment. It is not the rupture that shapes your baby. It is the repair. Babies whose caregivers consistently come back after hard moments, who pick them up, hold them close, and communicate with their whole body, "I'm here now. I see you. You're safe." Those babies develop more secure attachment than babies who experience fewer ruptures, but also fewer conscious, deliberate repairs. Ride that again slowly. The repair matters more than the perfection. Because what repair teaches a baby cannot be taught any other way. That love survives hard moments. That the people who hurt you can come back and make it right. That rupture is not abandonment. that you are worth coming back for. Every time you walk back in, pick them up and press them close. Every single time. You are writing something into them about what love looks like when it gets hard, about whether relationships can be trusted, about whether they are worth the trouble of repair. That moment is not your failure. Handled right, it might be one of the most important things you give them. Moment number 7, the moment you sing. I know. I know you don't think you're a singer. I know your voice isn't what you'd choose if you had options. Good, because that's not the point. Your baby's brain processes your voice differently from every other sound in the world. Not slightly differently, categorically differently. Because your voice, your specific voice, is the most familiar sound your baby has ever heard. They were listening to it through the walls of the womb for months before they ever took a breath. When you sing, in the bath, during the diaper change, in the car, humming while you do something else, you activate more regions of your baby's developing brain simultaneously than almost any other single stimulus researchers have been able to identify. Language regions, memory, emotional regulation, social bonding, all firing together, all building together. Here's the part that gets really interesting. When you sing the same song, the same melody, during the same part of the daily routine, the bath song, the sleep song, the diaper change hum, your baby's nervous system begins to recognize the cue before the event arrives. Their cortisol, the stress hormone, begins to drop at the sound of it. Their breathing slows. Their body prepares for calm before calm even begins. You're not just singing. You're building a shortcut to safety inside your baby's nervous system. A signal that says, this is familiar. This is coming. You can relax now. A stranger singing the same song produces a fraction of this effect. It has to be your voice. Imperfect, tired, completely, specifically yours. That voice is home to them. Use it. Moment number 8. The moment you let them lead. Your baby is doing something slow, repetitive, inefficient, picking up the same small object and dropping it, staring at their hand with an intensity that honestly seems like a bit much. Doing the same thing again and again, with no apparent progress toward anything. And everything in you wants to redirect. Introduce something more stimulating. Speed this up somehow. What happens when you don't? When you sit back and let your baby lead. When you follow their agenda instead of setting your own. When you resist the urge to improve the moment and instead just witness it. You give your baby something that is quietly becoming rare. The experience of their own agency. The felt sense that I am in charge of something, that my curiosity gets to lead. That what I find interesting is interesting enough to spend time on without someone redirecting me towards something better. Research on self-directed play shows that babies who regularly experience caregiver-supported, child-led exploration develop stronger executive function, the ability to plan, focus, and follow through. Greater persistence when something is hard, higher intrinsic motivation, the kind that comes from inside, not from reward. But here's the thing underneath the research. When you watch your baby's self-directed play with genuine interest, when you lean in slightly, when your face says, "This is fascinating to me too," you tell them something that lives deeper than any lesson. Your ideas are worth following. Where you want to go is somewhere I want to go too. That message, received consistently through 1,000 small moments of being witnessed, builds a child who trusts themselves, not because you told them to, because you showed them, by following, that they were worth trusting. Moment number 9. The moment of skin against skin, not the delivery room, not the golden hour. Right now, today. The ordinary moment when their cheek rests against your chest, or your hand rests on the bare skin of their back, or you hold them close in the in-between times that don't have a name. Dr. Tiffany Field at the University of Miami Touch Research Institute has spent 30 years studying exactly this. What happens in the baby's body during skin-to-skin contact with their primary caregiver. Her findings are not subtle. Babies who receive regular physical closeness show measurably lower baseline cortisol levels, stronger immune function, more regulated sleep cycles, more secure attachment at 12 months. Not slightly more, measurably, significantly more, all from touch, all from your skin against their skin. Here's what most parents don't realize about this. It doesn't have to be a dedicated holding session. It doesn't have to be intentional or lengthy or special. It's the casual contact. A hand on their back while they're on the floor, brushing their cheek as you pass, keeping them close during the in-between moments. That does as much as any formal holding. These micro moments of touch are sending a continuous signal to your baby's nervous system throughout the entire day, not loudly, quietly, constantly. I am here. You are not alone. The world is as safe as this feeling, and for Black mamas, I want to say this specifically, the tradition of keeping babies close, of wearing them, of constant physical connection that has been central to African and African American parenting culture for generations. That tradition is never wrong. Mainstream pediatrics spent decades calling it unnecessary, creating dependency. Your grandmothers knew. The science just finally caught up. Moment number 10. The moment at the end of the day when you just hold them. The last one. The quietest one. The one happening in millions of homes tonight and being moved through too fast. The tasks are done or abandoned or waiting until tomorrow. Your baby is in your arms or on your chest or settled against you in whatever dim, quiet corner of the evening belongs to the two of you. And for a moment, maybe just a moment, you stop. You are not transitioning to the next thing, not calculating how much sleep you might get, not thinking about tomorrow. You are just there, just with them. Here is what is happening in your baby's brain in that moment. The day is being filed. Every experience from the last 18 hours, every moment of connection, every exchange, every small interaction that built something, is being sorted and stored during the neurological processing that happens in the wind down before sleep. Researchers studying early childhood memory have found something that permanently changes how we understand what babies actually remember. They don't remember events. They can't. They remember feelings, the emotional texture of their days, the felt sense of what the world was like today. And those felt memories, warm or cold, safe or uncertain, held or alone, become the lens through which everything else is interpreted. The baseline from which all future experiences are measured. A baby who ends most days in warmth develops a body-level expectation. After the hard thing comes the holding. After the long day comes this. After difficulty, there is someone waiting on the other side of it, that expectation. That specific, physical, wordless knowing. That is what resilience is actually made of. Not the ability to not feel hard things. The bone-deep certainty, written into the nervous system in moments exactly like this one, that you will be held through them. 40 years from now, when your baby is grown and the world does what the world always does, they will carry that. Not as a memory they can name, as a feeling in the body. A knowing. I have been held before. I can be held again. You gave them that. Tonight. In a moment that felt like you were just sitting there. 10 moments. None of them require money. None of them require a program or a class or a perfect philosophy. All of them are already happening in your day. You were just moving through them without knowing what they were. Let me come back to where we started. You are tired in a way sleep doesn't fully fix. You are doing everything, in the gaps between everything, with less margin than anyone around you probably sees. And somewhere underneath all of it, there is a question you carry. Quiet. persistent. The one that probably brought you to a video like this in the first place. Am I giving them what they actually need? Here is your answer. The fact that you watched this. The fact that you sat through 18 minutes of someone telling you that the ordinary moments matter, because some part of you already believed that, already felt that, and needed someone to confirm it. The fact that you are asking the question at all, that is not a small thing. A parent who doesn't care doesn't ask. A parent who is checked out doesn't sit through a video about the emotional weight of eye contact during feeding. You are here because you love your baby in a way that makes you want to understand them. Not just care for them, understand them. That quality, that specific, fierce, exhausted, relentless love is the thing. It is the most important variable in every study, every longitudinal research project, every piece of developmental science we have been talking about today. Not the perfect parent, the present one. The one who keeps asking, your baby doesn't need you to get it right every moment. They need you to keep coming back to it. Keep showing up for the small moments, even when you don't fully understand them. Keep being the person who wants to know what's actually happening inside them. You are already that person. You were that person before you pressed play today. So go close the day with them. Dim the lights a little. Slow your voice down. Press them close and know that in that ordinary moment, the one that will feel like nothing, you are giving them everything. If this gave you something today, a single shift, a new way of seeing one of these moments, share it with another mama who is in it right now and needs to hear it. She is out there. She is tired. She needs to know her ordinary moments are enough. Tell her they are. I'll see you in the next one.